I move that we delete recommendation 1, which is the recommendation permitting Mr. Leary to spend $15 million, and instead adopt a different recommendation 1, that City Council authorize the city manager to withdraw up to $15 million from the property tax stabilization reserve for the following purposes: additional housing allowances for people leaving shelters, enhanced daytime drop-in funding, and the creation of dedicated shelter beds for people leaving incarceration. And 2, that City Council direct the city manager to write the federal government and ask them to reimburse any costs resulting from this expenditure. We do our worst work when we forget that these are long-term problems that require long-term solutions, and we respond to the moment and try to solve the problem in the moment with quick fixes. This is long, hard work. I want to tell you about the thing I am most proud of that I have ever done as a member of Toronto City Council. It's a housing project in my ward called Edmonds Place. It houses 27 individuals who had experience with homelessness and mental health issues. It's named Edmonds Place after a young man named Edmund Yu. In 1984, Edmund Yu moved to Canada. He attended York University, did pre-med. He was attending University of Toronto as a medical student. And I believe it was in 1987 or 85, he was arrested by the Toronto Police Service and put into the mental health system. For the next 12 years of Edmund Yu's life, he cycled through the criminal justice system, the mental health system, our shelter system, homelessness, and so on. In February of 1997, 12 years of that life, he assaulted somebody at a bus stop, boarded the bus, and was called in. The police arrived and shot Edmund Yu dead. That's not an indictment of the Toronto Police Service. There was an investigation. But I want to read you the conclusion of the report on the investigation into Edmund's death. It concluded that housing is a mental health issue, and the absence of decent housing is a major determinant of health. We do not make Toronto safe by increasing the number of police officers out there policing the transit system. We do make people feel safer, that's true, and it is among our jobs to make people feel safer. But unless we get to the fundamental problem, which is making sure that there are not individuals out there who are cycling through the jails, the psychiatric health system, our shelter system, our TTC vehicles, until we actually have the tools so that is not a life that someone lives for 12 years, no number of police officers is going to prevent incidents like the ones that have happened recently in Toronto. No number of police officers are going to take those members of our society who have no options at all and make them safe. For a moment, if you can, imagine if you woke up tomorrow morning and you had no money, you had no food, you had no roof over your head, you had no prospects of any of those things, and that your experience of dealing with the City of Toronto was being arrested or put into a psychiatric care unit and then put back out onto the street and told good luck. Would you trust anybody in authority to help you? You would not. You would be fearful, you would be anxious, you would quite possibly be violent. The violence does not come from bad people. The violence comes from bad systems. If you tell people who live in this city, you are not welcome in a home, you are not welcome in our shelter system, you are not welcome in a Tim Hortons, you are not welcome in our parks, you are not welcome on a bus, and all we do is hire more security guards to chase you out of those locations, you become desperate. You become frightened, and quite possibly, you become violent. No number of police officers or security guards is going to reground you. is going to make you feel safe. What the inquest determined, and what inquest after inquest after inquest determines, is that if you want to deal with this problem, the most important thing is secure, safe housing. And I am outraged and alarmed that any member of this council who has seen all of these inquests, who has seen our own ombudsman's report, who has voted for the progressive realization of housing, the right to housing, would consider for 1 minute a strategy based on hiring more security guards. Don't do it. Do the right thing. Support housing.